second grade friends. I am so excited. Today we are going to start our journey with nonfiction. This is going to be a great unit for us. We are going to start today with adding to an anchor chart. We're going to be talking about nonfiction readers grow knowledge. Do you remember that when about a month ago, we were talking about good readers get bigger and stronger and we grow like a beanstalk, right? So now with nonfiction, we're going to be talking about we grow our knowledge. We grow knowledge when we read nonfiction. Let me show you what I mean. I have some nonfiction books out here. This one is called Exploring Saturn. This one is Awesome Octopuses. This one is Manatees. And this one is Rocks and Minerals. Now, if you look at all of these books, all of these titles, you can see that these books tell us about things. So that's one of the really cool things about nonfiction is that it allows us to learn about topics. So for instance, if I wanted to read this book, I would grow my knowledge about manatees, right? If I wanted to read this book, I would grow my knowledge about rocks and minerals. If I wanted to read this book, I would grow my knowledge about octopuses, right? And if I wanted to read this book, I would grow my knowledge about exploring Saturn. So the planet Saturn. I would get information from this book about Saturn. So that's what we're going to be talking about with nonfiction. So if we look up here, we are going to talk today about pay attention to details. Now, the cool thing about nonfiction is that there is a lot for us to watch. So, if I have this big book, it's called Life in the Desert. So, I can expect right now to grow my knowledge about deserts. As I read this book, I'm going to learn more and more about deserts. Now, what we have to do when we're reading nonfiction is we have to pay really close attention to all the details in a book. So, when I open this nonfiction book, I can see a ton of details. First of all, nonfiction usually has a table of contents, and that kind of gets our brain ready for what we're going to read. So we know we're reading about deserts, right? But I kind of want to look and see what headings or topics am I going to read about. The Sonoran Desert, the Five Senses, Amazing Plants, Remarkable Animals, Saguaro Cactus Home, Desert Rest Stops, and Desert Future. So I can already know these are the things I'm going to learn about in this book. Now, I have to pay close attention not only to the text in a nonfiction book, but the pictures can also help us learn a lot. And we have captions underneath the pictures that tell us about what we're reading. Ooh, look at this. There's also what we call headings in nonfiction, and they tell us what an entire section is going to be about. Look at all the information. Do you see that beside every picture, there's a little blurb, a little bit of writing that tells us specifically about that picture all the way through. There's a lot of information in this book, isn't there, second graders? So when we are reading a nonfiction book, we have to pay close attention to the details. Do you see in this picture, this child has a book open and then they've got a magnifying glass because they're looking very, very, very closely. That's what we have to do when we read a nonfiction book. we have to put on our magnifying glass and we have to read very, very closely to find all the details or the facts in a nonfiction book. As you read, I want you to start trying to read some nonfiction books. And as you read, I would like for you to try to do that. Try to see all the details in your nonfiction book. Have a great time reading nonfiction.